Hi, welcome back to Real Auto Reports. We are here at Real Auto Ranch and we are about to give you the real video, the real review, all the details you want to know on this 2013 Toyota 4Runner Limited. Now, we're also going to give you some commentary about what you might see in 14 with the refresh that they've done, and why not. If you haven't seen our real first impressions, you might want to wait or you might not want to wait. So let's jump in the driver's seat, get going, and we'll tell you what we think.
Hi, so welcome back. We are in the 2013 Toyota 4Runner. So what do we really want to talk about in this real video, the real review? Mostly, it's why you might want to look at buying a model year ending 2013 as opposed to a new 2014. Or maybe you don't want to buy a 2013 and you want to buy the 2014. What are the differences? What are the details? And really, what should you be considering? We covered this a little bit in our real first impressions, but now we've spent some time with the vehicle. If we wait long enough, it might start snowing. It's supposed to be about 6 below here in Denver, here in the next day or so. So we definitely have been using the heated seats, the dual heated seats in this Limited. And that's really the first point here. This is the 2013 Toyota 4Runner Limited. It does have the four-wheel drive. It is the standard V6 engine with 270 horsepower and the 5-speed automatic transmission. Of course, you have the A-Track and the downhill ascent control and all the options that you have been able to find on this 4Runner since 2009's model year. And that's really the thing that you have to kind of get your head around, right? If you have a 2009 model or a 2010 4Runner, this 4Runner is not going to look a ton different. But 2014 will, starting with the front clip. It's going to be a more aggressive design. You may have seen pictures of it. Heck, you might have seen commercials with it already, because at this point in the year, this 2013 that we're in right now is really the model year closeout. And that's why you'll hear me say, if you like the design of this current generation and not the new 2014 look with the more aggressive front styling, and it'll have a different interior, then you're going to want to check this vehicle out pretty soon, because they're going to be fleeting, or you might end up looking at a lightly used one or a lease return. So what are the real differences? Well, you're not going to find a lot under the hood, and you're not going to find a lot of differences in the driving characteristics all the way back to the first year of this body style. These vehicles have pretty much stayed status quo. They've stayed the way that you would expect them to. They're a body-on-frame truck chassis. In fact, the 4Runner shares its underpinnings with the FJ, so the FJ Cruiser. So this is a great vehicle. It's got an optional third row that you can get. Now, they're harder to find because they are typically cramped in these vehicles. They're really the in-a-pinch option in the 4Runner. The 4Runner has always tended to be a 5-seat vehicle. Now you can get it up to a 7-seat vehicle with the optional third row, and that's been available in this generation, this 5th generation of Toyota 4Runner. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that the 4Runner has been around since 1984. For those of you who want to know what that means that the 4Runner and I are the same age. We were both created in the same year, and we are both aging rapidly. And that's what you'll hear people talking about in the 4Runner. It is an old design structure, body on frame. It's a truck chassis. It drives like a truck. It is a vehicle that used to be a true light off-road vehicle, originally with a 4-cylinder engine. Now you can only get these 4Runners in a V6. And what that means is that this V6 will tend to feel, from the start, a little lethargic. This is a very heavy vehicle, nearing the 4.5, probably with all the options and weight and people in it, you'll be over 5,000 pounds. And 270 horsepower is good, but it's coming from a V6 that, frankly, in the market is mated to old technology. It's an older V6 technology, and it's mated to a 5-speed automatic transmission. The interior is nice, but it's a limited package that we're in today, and this is about as good as the luxury gets in 2013. In 2014, you're going to see some significant differences in these interior finishes, like this vehicle that I've seen in different reviews and different photos will have wood trim in the Limited. You're going to have the wood trim on the shifter. The whole center stack gets modified. It's not completely different. Like, the climate control features are going to look very similar, but your screen and the layout of the knobs and the buttons for the navigation in this 6.1 inch screen are going to be different in 2014. Along with the front clip, a little bit of changes to the interior in the back and in the back tailgate, in the light structure in the back. You'll see more emphasis on clear lenses and things like that. You'll also see a different wheel in 2014. In this model, we have volume, and we have your different, for your presets on your radio, that up and down, the mode, the hands-free, and the voice control for the voice activation. The thing that you will find in 2014 is this 3-cluster gauge that you have in 2013, your center speedo with the all-red digital center, will turn into a full color screen, or at least it's a multi-color screen that is more akin to newer technology, and you're going to have the control here on the wheel to move through the menus in the center of the gauge cluster. So you're going to have your tach and your speedo next to each other in a more traditional fashion, and then the temperature gauge and the fuel gauge up in that kind of trapezoidal position, you know, the two up here and then the tach and speedo on the sides. That's going to be a change to this face. You're not going to have these deep inset separated gauges like you do in 2013. But other than that, I mean, we have heated seats. We have the automatic rolling down back window. That's one of the features that is unique to the 4Runner, is that you can roll this back window down and either load cargo or just have it down for flow through with the sunroof open. When I was in high school, we had a 98 Toyota 4Runner Limited, and we loved that truck. The thing that I will tell you then is that the headroom in the sunroof version of the Limited was restrictive, and I would smack my head on it going over speed bumps. You can see, even with this seat lowered all the way to the floor, the power seat, the multi-way power seat, I can still, you know, basically get a fist above my head. And I didn't wear a hat today, so you can see that there's really a good amount of room there, but these vehicles are still shorter in the window area than some of the competitors, I should say. These vehicles are not going to be vehicles that you're going to find a ton of headroom front or rear in. They're going to be vehicles where the style on the outside is somewhat more important than the interior dimensions. At least the 4Runner has always been a lower profile SUV, if you want to talk about it that way, than some of the rounder ones where you do get more headroom and you get more usability for the interior comfort and passengers. Whereas this is a very square and boxy SUV still. It is a mid-size SUV, and one of the few that stays true to that kind of truck platform, as I said before. Now, we need to talk about why you would buy a 13 or why you might wait and look at the 14. I think the new front clip of the 14 is going to be polarizing. I think it's going to be something that people either love or they hate, and I think people are going to opt to buy the 13 if they're not ready for that aggressive a change. But keep in mind, so this is really a refresh of the Toyota 4Runner, and it's going to be something where it's going to stick around probably for the next couple years, and then they're going to have to do a complete redesign like they did in 2009. So the future of the 4Runner does have change. The question is, will the change be going to a unibody setup, more like what happened with the Pathfinder and the Nissan brand. Because that's really where the 4Runner's at. Like the Pathfinder used to be like the 4Runner, a very boxy truck-based midsize SUV. It turned into, in the last redesign, into a much larger, 7-seat capable, fairly comfortably, but it took away that rugged feel. These 4Runners have mostly been rugged vehicles that then have a high end in the limited that speak to luxury but are not necessarily luxurious. And that's where we're going to have to see where the change is. But I think you're safe to say that the 14 and the 13, the biggest differences are going to be visual and interior design and appointments in terms of the layout and the look and feel. They're still getting dinged in 14 for multiple materials inside these 4Runners, just like here in 2013. You've got some soft touch leatherette type fixtures here up on the door sills, or the door ledge, and then your handles are this kind of satin plastic, and then you've got a matte plastic here, and then a pebble dash, and then another textured vinyl type of dash here, and different color headliner. And some people ding the Toyota design in here for having so many different finishes, and that almost gets worse in 2014 because then they add the wood grain back in some of the high-end limiteds that I've seen pictures of. There's the wood grain. Now we're going to see the 14 coming up here in the first half of 2014, so they'll definitely be at dealers, and we'll give you an update of our first impressions of seeing the new grille in person, and we'll be able to look back on this review and our real first impressions and do a side-by-side comparison. But you can do that today by going out to the Toyota website. They're already advertising the 14s, but the dealers are carrying still a bunch of 13s on the lot. So you might be able to get a really good deal. Sticker, this truck is fairly expensive. It's over $40,000. It's pushing that $44,000 and some change as tested. But I can tell you, I looked online before we recorded this, and I'm seeing them at dealers around the Denver area for about $41,000 as they're being advertised. So definitely a good time to buy, especially if you want any type of 4Runner. Remember, the Limited's got the leather, the dual heated seats that are on the variable control, so you can variably change it. It's not a 1 or 2 or 3 stage. It has a variable dimmer on the heated seats for both front. You're not going to have heated seats in the rear, and this vehicle that we're testing does not have the third row, but it does have the wheel and tire package, so it looks sharp in the Limited. You've got your sunroof, your Bluetooth, your navigation, satellite radio, cruise control, automatic headlights, most of the things that you could want. The thing that you're not going to have in this vehicle is an automatic lift gate, which I find a little bit showing of the times, that this really does show that this vehicle is an older style, and you're also going to have some features that you might want that aren't on this package for this price, including memory seats. I don't have in this one, but I know I've seen that option in some of the new 14s. So there definitely are some little minute differences that you'll see going to the 14. And if you like these vehicles and you want to stick with a truck-based SUV, go check the 4Runner out. It's one of the last of this breed, and honestly, it drives nice. It's got decent power. You're going to notice a little bit of sluggishness from a start. I think it has a little bit lack of torque from the get up and go with the 5-speed, but out on the freeway, these vehicles from 60 to 80 have good power, take the hills fairly well, better than the 98 that we had for sure, and you can still see triple-digit speeds with these trucks, even though that's probably not recommended for the high profile. But dual climate controlled, and ironically strange feature, but it kind of speaks to the way that people use these vehicles, the party mode for the sound system, which will throw more sound at the back, so when you have the lift gate open, you can project the sound out the back of the car. So there's some neat little funky things about this vehicle. Of course, the updates that we've seen over the years include the push to start and the touch entry on the door handles. And, you know, I don't have to carry the key around. You just put it in your pocket, or, you know, people put them in their purses or their coats or whatever when they're out and about, and you just walk up and open the car. Great features. Some of them are missing, like adaptive cruise and cooled front seats and heated rear seats and memory seats in this particular model, although, as I said, I do believe they're available in 14. So go check them out. Toyota has an oldie but goodie here, but if this is a vehicle that you're looking to take up into the mountains or go on trails or out in the country four-wheel driving, it's hard to find a midsize SUV as capable as this one and in the wide price point, because remember, these vehicles can start out in the low 30s and go all the way up into the mid 40s. So that's kind of where I think we're at with the 13. It's very late in the model year. The 14s are going to become very quickly the only option for a new vehicle. So see what you think and let us know on our YouTube channel, and we'll have the real wrap up for you coming up next.
All right, so that is the real video, the real review on the 2013 Toyota 4Runner Limited. This is four-wheel drive. It does have the V6 with 270 horsepower. You're going to see that 17 to 21 miles per gallon city highway. And generally, you're going to have a really capable truck here. It is one of the few body-on-frame type of trucks, so it is going to be very truck-like. It's going to drive like a truck. It's going to ride like a truck. And more often than not, it's going to off-road like an old-school truck. And that is pretty cool, considering how old the design is on this vehicle, and it's one of the only ones left. Now, at about $44,000, and just a little over as tested, it's not a bargain, but it definitely will give you that luxurious edge in this Limited, and this vehicle is going to start in the 41s at a base Limited package. Now, you can still get a 4Runner in the 30s, and that's not bad if you're looking for just the basic SR5. Now, the thing about the 14 is, I would buy the 13 if you like this more subdued front end treatment and you're not too crazy about the differences on the interior. But if you really like radical design and you like something that's edgy and is going to make people talk, you might want to stay tuned for the 14 that we're going to have coming up right here on Real Auto Reports, where we will take a look at the 2014 redesign. But until then, check out the 13. If it's something you like and you like the way it looks and drives, buy it. If you don't, stick around and we'll give you more details about the new refresh for 14. I'm Jonathan McGrew. This is Real Auto Reports. We'll see you down the road.